Have you ever wondered why you feel an unexplainable guilt? Whenever your life begins to feel peaceful, joyful, and truly free, deep in your nervous system lives an unspoken rule if your ancestors suffered. You must not dare to be happy. Psychologists call this invisible loyalty, the subconscious contract that ties our survival to repeating our family's oldest unhealed wounds. We swallow bitterness, not because we crave the taste, but because we were taught that drinking it was our sacred proof of belonging. When suffering becomes the primary language of love, choosing your own wellness can feel like an act of profound betrayal. Today, we explore an ancient parable about a forgotten mountain village and the profound courage required to stop drinking from the poisoned well. Welcome back to our sanctuary of ancestral healing. If you are ready to break inherited cycles, subscribe and walk this path with us. Before we unpack the psychological mechanics of generational trauma, listen closely to the tale of a village that mistook thirst for devotion many generations ago. High in the craggy mountains, our ancestors built a village around a single, miraculous stone well. In those early days, the water was sweet and pure. It sustained their lives through harsh winters and protected them from severe droughts. The village elders carved a solemn vow into the stone: never abandon the well that saved our lives. Honor it forever. Decades passed, and deep underground, a mineral fissure cracked open, slowly leaching a bitter, dark mineral residue into the ancient spring. The water turned murky and sour. Those who drank it developed heavy fatigue, chronic aches, and a creeping numbness in their hearts. Yet, no one dared to speak the truth. To complain about the water was considered an ungrateful insult to the sacred ancestors. Drinking the bitter water became the ultimate test of loyalty. The sicker a villager became, the more righteous their suffering was proclaimed. When the morning ritual arrived, the seeker was handed the dark chalice, but for the first time, their hands remained completely still. I love you, and I honor our ancestors, the seeker whispered softly. But I can no longer drink what makes us sick. Silence fell over the square like an iron frost. The elders looked upon the seeker with a mixture of fear, disbelief, and mounting grief. You think you are superior to those who raised you? An elder cried. Our parents drank this water, and their parents before them. To the wounded collective, someone who refuses the family poison feels like a living condemnation of all their past unacknowledged sacrifices and endured suffering. One by one, the villagers turned their backs, closing their wooden shutters and casting long obsidian shadows across the cobblestones of the village square. The pain of belonging to yourself often begins with the loneliness of being misunderstood by the very people you love the most. With nothing but a simple woven traveler pouch, the seeker turned toward the steep mountain cliffs where the primordial clouds touched the morning horizon. Breaking generational cycles requires leaving the familiar comfort of the toxic valley and stepping into the untamed wilderness of your own emotional sovereignty. Every uphill step felt heavy with internalized voices, the whispers of doubt, the guilt of leaving, and the ghost of old loyalties calling them back. High above the tree line, surrounded by ancient stone monoliths and luminous starlight, the seeker sat in meditation, surrendering the need for family validation. In the deep stillness of the high peaks, a luminous celestial ancestor appeared in the shimmering indigo wind, eyes radiating pure, unconditional compassion and warmth. We never wanted you to suffer for us, the ancestor spoke. Our greatest wish was for our children to drink a water that was completely clean and sweet. Behind a veil of cascading crystalline light, the seeker discovered the original primordial spring, bubbling forth with water as luminous as liquid gold. As the pure water touched their lips, The heavy dark filaments dissolved from their soul, replaced by an incandescent, radiant gold clarity of being. The tale of the poisoned well is not merely ancient folklore. It is a precise psychological mirror of how families pass down unexamined emotional patterns. Modern science now confirms, through the field of epigenetics, that emotional stress and hypervigilance can literally alter how our DNA expresses itself across generations. When our grandparents survived systemic hardship, their nervous systems adapted to perpetual threat, passing down an internal alarm system calibrated for constant danger. In family systems theory, this is known as invisible loyalty. We subconsciously contract to remain at the exact same level of joy as our parents. If your mother spent her life in self-denial, your subconscious mind tells you that thriving, resting, and enjoying wealth is a direct betrayal of her memory. Many cycle breakers were parentified as children. You became the emotional caretaker of your household before you even had time to understand your own identity. You learned hyper-independence because vulnerability felt unsafe. You convinced yourself that you needed no one, carrying the entire weight of the world alone. This breeds the chronic exhaustion of high achievement, where you constantly perform, produce, and rescue others just to justify your basic right to exist. Somatic psychology reveals that unexpressed grief settles into the physical body, tightening our shoulders, restricting our breath, and keeping our nervous systems trapped in fight or flight. Without awareness, we engage in repetition compulsion. We unconsciously choose partners, careers, and environments that recreate the familiar emotional winter of our childhood. We code switch our authentic feelings into pleasant compliance, swallowing our truth to preserve the fragile emotional equilibrium of the family table. True ancestral honor does not mean repeating their suffering. It means harvesting their resilience while laying down the tools of their survival that no longer serve life. Differentiating from enmeshed family dynamics requires tolerating the temporary anxiety of disappointing others so that you may remain faithful to your authentic self. The groundbreaking beauty of neuroplasticity and epigenetic healing is that when you calm your nervous system, you biologically rewrite the blueprint for everyone who comes after you. You are not the defective branch of your family tree. You are the blooming bud where centuries of suppressed love finally find the courage to open. How does the poisoned well manifest in modern everyday life? It rarely appears as obvious malice. Instead, it disguises itself as noble self-sacrifice and chronic duty. Consider the mother wound across generations. When a mother was denied her dreams, her daughter often inherits an unconscious vow to never outshine or surpass her. Or the father wound of relentless labor. A father who survived through unyielding stoicism teaches his son that softness is weakness and rest is shameful surrender. This produces the modern struggle identity. You feel unworthy of love unless you are constantly exhausted, solving someone else's emergency, or burning out at work. Whenever your life becomes genuinely peaceful, an internal panic alarms your nervous system, bracing for the other shoe to drop, mistaking calm for impending catastrophe. Unprocessed family grief operates like trapped steam. If it cannot be voiced with honest vulnerability, it leaks out as passive aggression, sudden emotional numbness, or bitter cynicism. If you are the first in your family to build healthy wealth or emotional stability, you likely wrestle with profound survivor guilt. Your somatic body remembers every unsaid word. Generational bracing clenches your jaw, contracts your diaphragm, and creates chronic tension in your belly that rest alone cannot soothe. Setting a boundary is not an act of hostility. A boundary is simply the golden fence that allows love to enter while keeping generational toxicity outside. To heal the lineage, you must first reclaim your inner child. The child who drank the bitter water simply wanted to be loved, seen, and accepted by their caregivers. When you understand that an elder's anger is just their unmourned heartbreak, you stop personalizing their criticism and begin holding space with compassionate detachment. We must rewrite our ancestral vow. Instead of saying, "I will suffer because you suffered," "I will thrive so your sacrifices were not in vain." Insight alone does not heal generational trauma. To truly rewire our biology and lineage, we must anchor our intellectual understanding into concrete, somatic daily rituals. We now share 3 powerful ancestral healing practices that you can begin today to release inherited guilt and restore safety inside your nervous system. Find a quiet space. Rest both hands gently over your chest. Take one slow, nourishing breath and prepare to release what was never yours to carry. Practice 1 is the sacred letter of separation. Write down every unspoken rule you inherited from your family that makes joy and rest feel forbidden. Write with complete honesty, "I honor your resilience, but I return your fear, your perfectionism, and your scarcity back to the past." Once written, safely burn the parchment or dissolve it in water, watching the heavy words transform into weightless golden embers rising into the night. Notice the physical sensation in your chest as the smoke clears. Your nervous system is beginning to register that emotional differentiation is safe. Practice 2 is the somatic return of the stone. Find a smooth, dark stone from the earth to physically represent the generational burden you carry. Hold the heavy stone in both hands. Breathe deeply into your belly and whisper, "I carry my own life now. I lay your unfinished grief to rest." Gently place the stone upon the earth or a sacred altar. Bow your head with reverence, acknowledging their journey without taking on their unresolved pain. Take 3 deep belly breaths as your hands rest empty. Feel your shoulders drop and your jaw soften as your body realizes the weight has been laid down. Practice 3 is establishing your golden perimeter. A boundary is not a wall of hatred. It is a perimeter of clarity that protects your inner peace. When toxic patterns arise, use calm, clear language. "I love you, but I will not participate in conversations that attack my peace or diminish my self-worth." Expect to feel temporary guilt after setting a boundary. Remind yourself that guilt is merely the feeling of childhood conditioning leaving your somatic body. Anchor your nervous system every morning with 3 conscious breaths. Place 1 palm on your heart and 1 on your belly, confirming that you are safe in this present moment. Permit yourself micro moments of pure softness throughout the day. Drink fresh water slowly, step into morning sunlight, and allow yourself to savor rest without earning it. Healing does not require your entire family to change. When one note in a chord shifts into harmony, the entire song of the lineage begins to transform. By refusing the poisoned well, you become the sacred ancestor your descendants will one day thank for their freedom and peace. Breaking a generational pattern does not require anger or grand declarations. It happens in quiet moments when you choose self-compassion over self-punishment. Look at your lineage not as a chain of suffering, but as an ancient river that has finally found its clear, unpolluted path to the ocean. You are allowed to experience unearned ease, untroubled laughter, and deep restorative sleep without waiting for another crisis to justify your rest. Somewhere in the vast starlight of eternity, your ancestors are watching you with profound relief, whispering, "Thank you for finishing what we could not." Every time you breathe through an old impulse to over-explain or rescue others, you anchor safety deeper into the cellular memory of your body. The children of cycle breakers inherit a world where love is not conditional on performance, and peace is not mistaken for danger. The stone well in the village square now flows with crystal-clear mountain water, reminding everyone that tradition can be renewed with life, not stagnation. Now, we invite you to reflect deeply. What was the bitter water your family expected you to drink? Was it silence, overwork, or emotional sacrifice? Share your story in the comments below. Writing it down is an act of courage that helps other cycle breakers realize they are not alone. When we speak our truth in a safe community, the shame of generational silence dissolves, replaced by the collective strength of shared healing. Remember that healing is not a destination of perfection, but a gentle daily practice of choosing your own sovereignty, one conscious breath at a time. May you walk with the strength of 1,000 ancestors behind you, and the peaceful clarity of pure mountain water guiding every step ahead. If this sacred fable brought clarity to your journey, subscribe to our sanctuary, like this reflection, and share it with someone walking this path. Rest now in the warmth of your own resilience. You have put down the bitter cup, and your lineage is forever transformed. Take one final deep breath in this stillness. Honor the past, inhabit the present, and step freely into the light of your tomorrow.